You've heard bad things about online degrees. You've heard that they're not respected, that they're too easy to get, that they come from diploma mills, that these schools will not be respected when you are trying to get a job. And there's some truth to this, but only a little bit, and you can completely avoid that if you know what to look for. So today, I'm going to give you 7 reasons why you don't need to stress out about an online degree and why it will be just fine as a means of moving on in your career. And if you want help putting that degree together, picking out a college and a major that are a good fit, check out the link in the description and sign up for a consultation with my team. We'll get you graduated quickly and inexpensively so that you can build a career that you love. Reason number 1, everybody does it. First off, you don't have to stand out as having a bad online education because basically these days, almost everybody takes courses online. If you look at this graph here, 71% of students are taking at least one online class, and 52% of students are taking nothing but online classes. That means that literally half of everybody is getting an online degree. And here's probably the source of some of the bad reputation here. Look at this. 89% of private for-profit students have gotten their degree completely online. That means some of the lowest quality, most predatory colleges are online focused. And that leads us into point number 2. You got to be a little bit picky with the online college that you choose. If it is not regionally accredited, that is a major red flag. That is the highest form of accreditation, and as long as you have that accreditation to your degree, you have the same accreditation as Harvard or any Ivy League school has. And then you should usually avoid for-profits. Now, there are some good ones out there, but not a lot of them. I've got a whole video about why to avoid for-profits over here, but the long and short of it is that usually they have worse outcomes for their students, but charge more. A lot of people think it's a question of online versus residential being the determiner of quality, but in a lot of cases, it's more about where the school's accreditation is from and what their profit status is. You should be picking public and nonprofit colleges. Reason number 3, you don't have to be ashamed of your online bachelor's degree. A lot of people will say that online degrees are easier than traditional degrees, but in a lot of cases, that's just because they're a little bit faster. Now, think about it. When you go to a residential program, you're having to sit through lectures, you're having to go at the pace of the class. If there's somebody asking dumb questions, you have to sit and listen through that. But in an online learning environment, you can go very much at your own pace. Maybe you're more comfortable in that environment. Maybe you like watching the lectures on 2 times speed, or maybe you would prefer to read rather than have to listen to lectures. Whatever it is, for a lot of people, online just goes faster and seems easier because it just fits who they are as a student better. Of course, for some people, especially people who are really social and really want to be with other people all the time, the online environment might be a little bit harder and they might be less motivated and thus take more time. And that leads right into point number 4. Completing an online degree and completing a residential degree showcase different skills. You might do a lot more discussion and you might work with people more, do group projects more in a traditional classroom. But in an online classroom, you're having to be a lot more self-disciplined. There are fewer people telling you what to do, when to do it, and you're having to manage your own time. So let's say that you're in a job interview situation and the job interviewer asks you, and by the way, this will almost definitely never happen, but let's say it did. They ask you, hey, you had an online degree. I don't like online degrees. Did you really learn anything there? A really good response is to say, yeah, not only did I learn all of the course material, but because it was very much an independent style learning program, I had to have a lot of self-discipline. I had to be an effective written communicator through email and in papers, and I had to be able to take responsibility for my own deadlines and my own work. Basically, take a stupid question and turn it into a list of reasons based on your online educational experience why you actually have developed skills that would make you a great fit for their company. For item number 5, I want to be realistic here. Sometimes residential programs or residential courses will have more things that you have to do than you would have to do in an online version of the class. Not only is an online version usually shorter, and so there's less time to pack things in, but sometimes there's just things that you can't do online. A lot of times a discussion in class might take a couple of weeks to talk through a book, whereas in an online class, it might just be a couple of discussion boards. Or there might be an in-class project that gets turned into something much smaller and easier in an online class. But the truth of the matter is that both of them cover the essentials of what you need to know. You can be assured when you go through an online program, you are learning what needs to be learned. And a lot of times you'll see that in the way that they map out course learning outcomes. And a lot of times, in fact, most of the time, when you look at a school's online and residential program, the course learning outcomes are the same, and they have different ways of achieving those outcomes based on the type of environment that they are teaching in. And a lot of times, too, if you are starting an online program, program, you're not targeting 18 to 22-year-olds who have nothing going on in their life and can afford to just pick up and go to college for 4 years. You're targeting adult students who have a family, who have a job. And so some of those extra fluffy things that they might require in a residential program, they might not require for you. But at the same time, even if there's not some of that extra busy work or some of those extra projects or opportunities, you are still getting the essentials of what needs to be learned. Reason number 6 is honestly that the question of whether your degree is worth anything just is mostly irrelevant. And the reason for that is that in our US economy currently, a lot of times, in fact, about 85% of the time, a bachelor's degree is just a check mark to get an interview. Basically, they say, we don't want to interview you unless you have a bachelor's degree, and that's about all that it does for you. And the reason I can say that is that somewhere between 85 and 90% of people are working in career fields that have nothing to do with their bachelor's degree. So what am I trying to say? It's that employers don't actually really seem to care about the quality of your degree. They just want to know that you have one so they don't have to interview quite so many people. If you want to hear more about how employers and the college system have kind of screwed over college students, especially adult college students, you should check out this series of videos over here. And the final reason why you should not be ashamed of your online bachelor's degree is that in general, online and traditional students actually seem to perform at the same level in their courses. In fact, there was one big meta study that looked at a bunch of other little studies a few years back, and they found that generally online students maybe even performed a little bit better. And that study was done back when online education was very, very new and wasn't that good. We didn't have the resources and the curriculum and the knowledge that we have now to make the online education experience even better. So there you go. 7 reasons you do not need to worry about getting an online bachelor's degree. You are going to be just fine. And if you are interested in finding an online college and major that will help you achieve your career goals, sign up for a consultation with me and my team. We often help people save over $35,000 in just a 50-minute session, and we'd love to help you too. Thanks for watching, and happy hacking.